Hi, friend. Welcome to What Doesn't Kill You. If you're listening today, there's a good chance you went through something that's absolutely ripped your world open. Maybe divorce, heartbreak, struggles with mental health, or just the experience of having to start over when you didn't plan to. This podcast is for women who love God or are trying to, but are also struggling with their mental health, their identity, and their future. Women who are learning that sometimes faith doesn't mean having it all together, it means showing up broken and letting God meet you there. They say what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I don't think that means the pain didn't matter. I think it means that God can use what almost broke you to build something stronger, deeper, and more honest than ever before. I'm starting this podcast because I wish I had had something like this when my life fell apart. I needed space that talked about faith and mental health, a place where divorce wasn't whispered about, where anxiety, OCD, depression weren't signs of spiritual warfare, but part of the human experience. This podcast is about starting over, about healing without rushing, and learning that strength doesn't always look like confidence. Sometimes it looks like survival. You don't need to have it all figured out to be here. You just need to be willing to keep going. A few years ago, at 28 years old, I found myself completely starting over. I left a marriage, my home, my job. I moved back in with my parents, something I never imagined I'd be doing at that age. Everything I thought my life would look like was gone, and I was left asking, who even am I? That season was one of the darkest and hardest times of my life. I was grieving a future I thought I would have. I was trying to heal while also figuring out how to survive emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. During that time, my mental health was fragile, and that's an understatement. I struggled with severe anxiety, OCD, and depression while trying to heal. I want to say this clearly. Loving God does not make you immune to mental health struggles. It doesn't erase depression, and it doesn't mean that you are weak if you need help. One of the best things I did was go to therapy. Therapy didn't replace my faith, it supported it. It gave me tools to learn how to deal with what I was living with. One of the scriptures that carried me through that season was Psalm 23. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil because my God is with me. I didn't skip the valley, I walked through it. And God didn't rush me out of it, He walked with me through it. There was a moment when everything felt impossible, where I felt God tell me very clearly, I've already made a way. I didn't know how, I didn't see it, but looking back now, I can see that He was right because He did make a way. And I got through that, and He worked everything out in the best possible way. So slowly I started rebuilding. I found a new job in a new town, and I learned how to be alone. And eventually, I felt called to go back to school to pursue my master's in mental health counseling. What once felt like the end of my life became the beginning of a new chapter of it. On this podcast, we'll talk about faith, mental health, healing after divorce and heartbreak, anxiety, OCD, depression, therapy, identity, and learning how to trust God again, sometimes for the first time. This is not a place for shame. It's a place for honesty, grace, and growth. And I just want to encourage you, if you're listening today and you feel like your life is over, please hear me when I say this. It's not. What didn't kill you is still shaping you, and God is not done with your story. If this episode spoke to you, I hope you'll stay, subscribe, share with a friend who's struggling, and remember, you are not alone. And what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I'm Hannah Stiles. Thank you for listening.